Silent of fall! Lake Widow's doing it! They're gonna take! He's gonna bring down Burning! Revolt with a double kill! Dropping fast! Monopoint's there! He's still alive! Wait, second slide! He's going one side! He's going a second! He's taking it! They're all died on three! They're all dead!
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Summit 2 by G2A.com. In the C region, we are going to round things up. This is the last day of Dota matches. We just saw a first match between Team Malaysia taking on First Departure. They got their win. They looked damn good doing it with their full force team utility, team ultimate, death ball. Just wreaking havoc over First Departure. There was nothing left of them before they took the whole base in a very quick fashion. Now, with one more win, they move on to face Invasion. First Departure, they're on their last legs.
Yeah, I think you got to go back to what got you here. Classic Miracle Dota. Rat Dota. Split push Dota. Late game Dota.
It's dirty.
Yeah.
But someone's got to do it. Someone's got to do it.
And there's nobody better to do it at Southeast Asia than Miracle.
Absolutely not. So I guess without further ado, we'll go ahead and hop into the draft. This time I did make it in. LD this time had a little bit of trouble. It's not just me, folks.
What, is it too much to ask to have two people in one Singapore lobby? I guess so.
I don't know. We should ask the server heads as far as that goes. But with that said, look at this. Nothing's changed, LD. Team Malaysia still ban out Huskar. They still ban out Ricky. First Departure, ban Naga right off the bat. I mean, what is this? Is this arrogance? Is this like, we don't need this freaking hero to make our way through. We don't need it. Like, what?
I mean, maybe Malaysia are running this a lot in scrims or something, and they're afraid of giving it to... I mean, I have seen KYXY play it before, but especially in the last game, you had first pick. So if you wanted the Naga, you could just go for it right away. And Malaysia's had an issue where they see the Naga coming. They just can't stop it before against First Departure. But, hey, they're going to try something different. I think the good news here is they ban out Death Prophet. That was a problem, Hero, because you've got this big team fight. That's one thing. But then you're taking objective after objective on the back of that. And that was like 80, 90% Death Prophet killing the tower. So that's not in the pool. And First Departure take away the double team fight combo. So they get the Tidehunter. I think it's still a much better draft from First Departure already.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it looks good. They get the prized offlane Tidehunter to set up the team fights for him. Mirana Shadow Demon, Peanut Butter and Jelly. Look for them to try to go aggressive, hot early. You know, if something never comes out of it, that's where things can be a bit troublesome. I've seen plenty of support Miranas run around and really not channeling their inner Robin Hood, and nothing really comes out of it, and it's just kind of a hot mess, and then she's like starved for farm. But if it ends up working out to their favor, they get a nice quick early first blood, they get some nice ganks, they go for the mid lane, they had pressure on the Brew before he gets to his level 6. Things could look good because then they're creating a bit of diversion factor, and they're allowing their now picked up Medusa to farm up and become, well,
that's more like
that
it.
Medusa.
Yeah, that's a little more up the First Departure alley.
10 seconds remaining.
And it's not the easiest Shadow Demon Mirana game. I think that's my main worry here for First Departure. You're up against two very tanky heroes. Brewmaster, Strength Hero, good strength game. And, of course, the Evasion. And Ogre, tanky as all get out. Nature's Prophet, squishy, but often it's the boots first build, or early boots, especially when Ohio's playing it, and difficult to wrangle. And then he's got chance to block the arrow, potentially. So, not the easiest lineup to find those Shadow Demon Mirana ganks for. And if they don't get something going early, they're putting a lot of faith in this Medusa Tidehunter combo later on.
Are we going to see a Mushi OD? He pulled it out last time against the Medusa, if I remember correctly. It was a distinct highlighting performance of Team Malaysia pretty much going ham.
OD does wreck Medusa.
And if there is anyone out there who plays a pretty good OD, Mushi is the one to do it. They do already have a Brew, but we already just saw last game that KYXY is happy to kind of take the reins of a Brew if necessary. So there's still a lot of...
There's Anti-Mage,
I was going to say, there's a lot
Nyx.
of other good counters still out there. Anti-Mage, Nyx, Necrobook holders. They did make this already banned out Invoker on their own side, so you're not going to get that sweet EMP. Quas Wex kind of style, but still a lot of options here. I'm curious if Team Malaysia are just going to be more persistent on their own strategy, or if they are going to look for a counter.
Yeah, I feel just from the games I've seen where Medusa's played, it's if you don't counter her, either through draft or just directly either through your overall strategy or directly countering the hero, it is often very difficult. Like the two ways I feel you can deal with this hero: one, just crush the early game so that Medusa has no space to farm and no time to come online. Or you pick heroes that just shut her down later on. So Mana Burn, by far the best way. I think Invoker's fantastic for that, but Malaysia banned it. There's, of course, Nyx we mentioned. Anti-Mage is still pretty good. Or Necrobook carries are okay, but they're
10
not...
seconds
it takes a while to farm that Necrobook, and by that point she normally has some items, so... I feel like that's more like a supplementary counter, not a hard solution. Then... Malaysia, it's definitely a well-rounded draft. They have some good lanes here, some good pick-up potential, great Rubik game. You can steal that Stone Gaze, potentially the Ravage, look to turn fights on the back of that, but I just worry that they're not... They often feel like they lack a sense of urgency when they play First Departure and they have that time bomb, and I would say Medusa counts as a time bomb. And
I agree
with
that.
We'll have to see with this last pick if Malaysia have a solution for it.
I mean, First Departure somehow have a lot covered, you know, with this Mirana Shadow Demon. You got the early game as far as being able to set the pace. Tidehunter gets to his level 6, has Ravage. Then he becomes a problem, gets a hold of his Blink. He's still there being a nuisance. And then plus whatever they put on top of that with this 5th grab here, which I wager is going to be their mid lane grab. I'm not too sure if a Miracle likes to play as Medusa in the mid lane and kind of take the reins as far as doing that like he did as Wind Ranger, or if he just goes safe and gets aided about there.
I'm honestly not sure. I've seen the mid Medusa. It's had mixed results. It was Weeha for Balkan Bears who likes to run it there.
Oh, yeah.
He normally laned well, but the thing is Medusa's just such an inactive mid. Like, she literally just sits in the lane and hits creeps for 20 minutes, which... Yeah, you're probably not an easy gank because you're Medusa, unless they've got counters for your hero, but they just ignore you. They'll go around, kill the other heroes, take towers, take objectives, shut down your jungle.
So we're looking at possibly First Departure grabbing hold of another mid lane hero then at this point, someone who can kind of create tempo, go space. I mean, Puck stands out to me, someone who can kind of snowball and be able to do something. Templar Assassin's another great snowball mid kind of hero who, if she's able to bring in a lot in that mid-game period, you know, along with a Tidehunter Ravage, they're going to try to wreak havoc between the 4 of them. And then, of course, you always have that Miracle doing miracle things.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure if he's going to play the Medusa. I haven't seen before, so I'm curious how they're looking to lane this.
Or whoever's doing Medusa to try to do Medusa things, I guess.
Yeah, it would seem like Medusa is more of the Miracle hero. He's a flashy player, but he generally plays that Time Bomb hero late game. As for Malaysia,
5 seconds
they don't have great solutions for TA. They have good solutions. Drunken Haze and Evasion are nice. The attack speed slow from the clap is nice. Ogre Magi has Ignite, so some damage over time, but not a ton. And it's also a dual core. They're going to go for the Morphling.
Indeed. Morphling. Mushy Morphling.
There's nothing to replicate that's particularly amazing in this game. I will say First Departure have a very difficult time killing a Morphling, unless he chooses to stick around. They have Shadow Demon who can be good. Soul Catcher is very nice against Morphling, but they don't have hard lockdown for him. There's no Doom, there's no Disruptor, there's limited ways to deal with him. So we may actually see Malaysia doing a lot of split pushing of their own between the Prophet and the Morphling, and they have definitely a lot of options this game. They can team fight pretty effectively. They could split push heavily. They can go for some early to mid game ganks with the Ogre Rubik. Plenty of options, and yeah, it looks like it will be a Miracle TA. So,
all right.
TA versus Brew, not the easiest matchup for TA. That 1-point Drunken Haze can be extremely annoying. You can't really zone out the Brew if that's the matchup, but we'll see. Maybe it's Mushi who... No, he's got a Ring of Protection, so I'm guessing it will be KY by going mid.
All right, we'll see. But, you know, First Departure, they should have expected that could have possibly been the matchup, picking a TA into that Brew. So they could also have just something up their sleeve as far as what they want to get done in the early part of this one. We do hop into the game regardless here. It's First Departure fighting for their tournament life now against Team Malaysia, who are just 1 win away from moving on to the finals of these playoffs against Invasion to get a hold of their trip to the summit here at the house. Well, we'll go ahead and lead things off. I couldn't have worded that any more terribly. I mean, LD, that was just word vomit after another.
And then it ended with, like, at the house. It's
at the house,
it
where games
like
are played
the
on
crappiest
computers.
event ever. It's like, yeah, come to the tournament at the house.
Come to the
house.
house.
Have a LAN party here, guys.
There
we'll
could be
pizza,
a lot of people.
Some soda. We'll have some computers lined up. Play video games.
I'm growing my neck beard now. It's going to be a phenomenal time. We promise there'll be not as many creepers, but maybe some.
I just shaved mine, but I can regrow it real quick. Don't you worry.
Oh, I bet. You'll probably have it by the end of the cast today, I'm sure. So I'll go ahead and lead off your introductions here. With that note, First Departure on your Radiant side. This go, it's going to be Lubby playing your Shadow Demon support. Already, we do have Hannah, who's kind of scouting out the top rune here on your Tidehunter. just nearby. They're actually baiting out this rune, hoping for an immediate first blood with the arrow and the disruption. It's going to be Luca looking for that arrow on your Mirana. It's going to be Polosan playing the Medusa, and that, of course, will leave Miracle, the face of first departure, I guess I like to say, playing your TA in the mid lane.
Yeah, it's often been looked at as for Protect Miracle. So there's not even a question about who the one is. It's in the name. But the truth is that first departure supporting cast is very solid. The way they draft just doesn't really allow them to shine usually. I wanted to mention first departure running the Shadow Demon with boots first. They don't have a smoke, but it's actually mid lane where... Here we go.
Oh, man. This is a nice start. They have already the telekinesis at the go. They pull it up. They're going to start with Ignite, but Miracle already going to fall. Just, it doesn't take but not even 1 minute for Team Malaysia to strike first here in the mid lane, and now your KYXY Brew is off to a nice start. Miracle has to now spend that bottle investment on a TP just to get back to the mid lane.
Yeah, rough times for Miracle, and kind of reminds me of how Vici Gaming approached their mid lane. Like, you see FY Fenrir, if they see a hero that can often dominate a 1v1 or just really wants to snowball, they will go for that extremely fast, like, as the rune spawns rotation. At the same time, Lubby posting up here on Mushi top lane. He's going to be forced to waveform out a bit, and they will struggle for Mushi's farm, but it's bottom lane where Hana's getting chased out, and that roaming ogre up to his usual bag of tricks. Already 2 kills on the board for him.
Yeah, we catch the back end of that one, but already putting in the mileage on those early boots, just kind of running about using the fatty flexy muscles he's got to pull in the extra bit of stats to just really truck it all over. For a guy who just looks like that, you don't expect him to be moving around as much as he does, but he's definitely putting in the work. He's got the pedometer in the pocket, and he's just counting the steps, so we'll see as he's now side by side here with Rubik. He just pretty much did a U-turn back and around. He wants another kill again on bottom lane, and they could get it here.
Hana might dodge this. No, never mind.
Hi, how you doing there? Hi, yeah, I'm a bit short-breathed, but we're going to go for this kill regardless. The Anchor Smash does catch on your Ogre, but Rubik nowhere near that mark. They're going to slowly right-click it down. Now they'll pull out the Telekinesis. He tries to go for immediate body block.
Prophet's TPing forward.
Steps out, and the Prophet comes on in, but still not enough to take down your Tide. They even force out the rotation, though, from Lubby. Disruption on the return, but it's going to be no one down, but still Ogre happy to just kind of force that extra bit of pressure. He has to now pull out all that extra regen, and Lubby even had to come down to help out.
Yeah, mind you, they're ganking in Nature's Prophet lane. If Ohio had phase boots, that would have been a kill, or if this was just a better, like, hero killer, they would have had one. But he's going to have early phase boots. KYXY doing well in the mid lane, already has the magic stick up, and the big thing there is that they force these supports to rotate. So now Mushi gets a proper 1v1 against the off-lane Medusa. Still a bit annoying as a Morphling having your damage stolen, but he's 13-1. He's your leader in CS, tied with the Medusa practically. He's one down. That's really a concern. You tried to go aggressive tri-lane. You gave up first blood mid. You have yet to get a kill at the Shadow Demon around it. You're just reacting to Team Malaysia's draft, and they're running heroes that are fairly inactive in the laning stage. Prophet and Morphling, and they're farming everyone. They're getting their levels. This is Trouble City.
And Team Malaysia that are going more on the offensive early on. I was expecting more to come out from your disruption arrows all over the place, but I've yet to see even one kind of, even if it was a miss, like I just have yet to see it even happen. It's Team Malaysia are kind of like showing the old shades of Vici Gaming where they just constantly roam about with their support duo, finding kills over the place, really taking advantage of those smokes. But they're at it again. They're coming down mid lane. Fire Blast going to lead it off here on Miracle. Refraction could slowly crumble under the Ignite power, and now they right-click it home. But yeah, that haste becomes a free get out of jail card in this mid lane, and he just pops it and runs right away. But now they might get trouble here. Arrow flies will catch on your Rubik, who's on the low ground though, but they're still trying to right click. Nature's Prophet able to walk away from this one, and he will live on. Now KYXY, big right click damage. Miracle uses that haste to go right up to the high ground. One more auto attack, can't get it. The telekinesis pulls him back. He still gets it right there. He does fall forward. The sacrifice leap though does help out Aluka going to the high ground to get away from this.
That was a really lucky Brewmaster play there. He threw out the Drunken Haze. I'm not sure if it was a miss from the Haze or from the evasion, but he wasn't getting away from the TA, so he had to chance it, and the dice were with him. Sure, he ends up going down, but very, very lucky. I'm actually not sure what Malaysia's plan there was. That was a haste to TA. She could have just ran away. Decided to come back in. They got the arrow initiation, so they tried to fight it, but that was extremely risky. Pretty high chance it backfires, and frankly, they're just lucky to come out there with the kill.
I guess just approaching that 5-minute mark. They're hungry to try to get a kill, get themselves on the board at some point, just get a little bit of momentum so they can hope to build on top of that. But still, Miracle and Brew duking out here in the mid lane. They meet relatively even as far as CS,
Radiant's
but now we're again back at it. The Bash brothers here, smoked up. These guys love to blaze it. They're heading towards the top lane, and they're going to try to do their first bit of damage here on Pelosin's Medusa. If they can find the right window, if she just gets a little overzealous here, which she kind of is.
They have double boots as well, so they can chase him a little bit. TP is ready on the Shadow Demon, though. If they try to engage, this could be punished. And there is a Radiant Observer Ward here, so as soon as the smoke wears off, they'll be spotted.
Look who smoked up themselves now. Shadow Demon Mirana moving towards this top area.
Oh, they don't know about it. Malaysia could be in a lot of trouble here.
We just grabbed a couple of wards. That is now moving towards the wall. Both teams rotating around here. They see them down there now with this ward, and Luca's looking to come in and flank him from behind. Disruption's there, arrow. It's going to be blocked out. Ogre ends up eating that arrow, but he's a big boy, so he can take the punishment. So now jumping forward. Can they get it up? They can. It's going to be a first departure, big Ravage. Kenshi, can they get the kill on your Ogre? He takes a few strikes and will not be able to walk away. Meanwhile, Mushi eating a little bit of extra damage. Is going to be forced to bottle up. Net also heavily wounded. Meanwhile, in the river, TA and Brew going toe-to-toe by that rune spot, and it's going to be Pelosin ends up going down to the right click of Mushi as he dashes right back in and finishes her off. A big grab right there.
He's going deep here. Wants to Luca real bad, but doesn't know where he is. I don't even think he got vision as it is nighttime. That could have been really bad if Miracle gets that haste rune for Team Malaysia, but instead KOXY, nice body block, able to secure it, and very important to deny this TA runes because Miracle, up against a lot of heroes, he can just blow up. The Prophet, the Rubik, 2 easy kills. The others not so easy to kill, but with a +1 or 2, they could bring them down. So, still, not too bad for first departure. They get a kill there, and at least they blunt the offensive a bit for Malaysia. They are doing well in terms of farm. All 3 cores farming exceptionally well. Arcane Boots on Hana, jungle being stacked, the Medusa still CSing well, and it's a bit of a worry for Malaysia that they're not farther ahead. In fact, you look at gold instead, even experience slightly their way, but very slightly. I think things are still pretty good here for first departure, considering how the game began.
And they did just lose their Medusa, but she's back at it again here in the bottom lane. She's going full Mystic Snake with this one, doing out the big harassment. I've heard people talk about maybe even getting like a Soul Ring in these kind of situations just to be able to have perma Snake, but mid lane here, they're moving on forward. Disruption. It's going to be thrown out on your Brew. The arrow does catch. It's a bit close range, and obviously they're not looking to follow up on top of that. They go on now Miracle. Sentries are on the ground, and your rotation from Nature's Prophet, but no opportunity to really kind of put out the damage to take down Miracle. They're not committing the split just yet on your Brew, and they'll just kind of dance it out. And now Miracle knows they do have a sentry in this mid lane as they take down that trap, and he just wants that 8-minute rune though.
They really wanted him to blow the split there.
He's going to really slow them so they don't get close enough to the rune in time, and he does get it. So good use of traps right there to make sure that Brew's not going to get close enough. And now your TA has an Invis rune. Can Miracle put it to good use and be able to get a pick off in a potential support or side laner? We'll have to see.
Medusa's Stone Gaze is TPing in top lane. No Ravage yet, though. Still 15 seconds. So it looks like Malaysia will have to back off this top tower. Tower will be held for now. They're farming well in the Medusa, despite that death. She is pretty much neck and neck with the Morphlane. Only 300 net worth down. And remember, it was an awfully Medusa, so yeah, it was good for Mushi that he was initially up against the tri-lane, but then they had to rotate. But overall, first departure, still just winning this one through CS, or rather keeping it even through CS, despite giving up the first blood in those 2 early kills.
You ever seen a gold coin up close? Look at that thing. Whoa. It's like a nice big hostess
Actually, it's
cake.
kind of underwhelming.
Yeah,
like,
where's the polygon?
Where's the
dude?
Etching? Where's the heads
Detail,
and tails, dude?
Yeah,
my immersion is broken.
Unplayable. Unplayable. Why even get a Midas?
It
just looks like a big flat cake that needs frosting, like a sponge base or something like that. But also the face that this Medusa's making is kind
I like
of
how the hovering numbers are cool though. I do like those.
The what?
The numbers.
Oh, the numbers in the air.
It's like if you spin around them, it'll 93 gold.
Is it? Oh, it's 39 from this angle.
Yeah, it is. It is actually 39. It's just if you spin around it the other way, you get 93. That's OP, dude.
Dire's bottom tower.
Australians get double the gold because they're playing upside down.
That's how it works. I remember that. Yeah, we live in the upside down life. So, Well, we'll see here. We do get the pause underway. Just a small bit of hiccup, I imagine. A bit of a lag, but not too much here. 4-2, relatively quiet early game. 6 kills as we get to the 8-minute, 30-second mark. Relatively even as far as net worth and the experience goes. Your Nature's Prophet, we'll touch base with him. It looks like he's going with either the early Maelstrom or he's going to be going with the Midas. In reasonable time, he's got the glove and the Oov already. And we'll slowly right-click down this bottom lane, which he's not really seeing any contention in the meantime.
Ohio is not really known for... Oh, they're trying to go Miracle Mid, but with no Blink on Brew, it's a tough jump. He's not really known for playing a farming Prophet. What he was known for, especially at TI, I think it was TI3. Yeah, it was TI3, was just a very, like, starvation mode style offlane Prophet. So basically he would skill teleport at level 1, drop wards in the enemy camps up against teams like Alliance. He would send his Treants out constantly. Whereas like the way Alliance would play their Nature's Prophet was he would just Bulldog would block the camps for 2 spawns and then he would go immediately to the jungle, farm some stacks from Ake and EGM, get an early Midas and play like the rat style Greed Prophet. But this is a bit of a change up for Ohio if it is, I mean regardless of what it is, either Maelstrom or your Midas. It's not particularly what he's known for, but I'm curious to see how it works.
There's just so many different ways to throw together a Nature's Prophet. He's got to be one of the most flexible itemization heroes in the game, I'd have to say. There's a couple of them out there, but he's got so many of them.
It definitely works for the hero. It's just, it's interesting that he's going this different style, because generally that's not how they play. But maybe they just feel like they can't really get too much done. They see first departure farming, and they know this one's probably going a bit later. So they're going to trade for towers. They're going to potentially go for that early Midas.
Not taking a whole lot of effort. They take down the bottom tier 1 relatively easy. Now they rotate towards the mid lane. Maybe considering a defense, they still have the glyph to use if they want.
Uh-oh, KOXY doesn't have mana right now.
A bit of damage. That Mystic Snake is putting in a little bit extra effort. But now sitting back, there's going to be the second rotation coming in. It's going to be the stand-in.
This Mystic Snake is a real pain in the ass for KOXY. He's going to need those Arcane Boots after this real bad. Maybe you should even go them first.
Also has a nice position here on the high ground, but look who's also coming in from behind. Mushi with the illusions out now. It's going to be Hano could be in trouble. Might be forced to pull out the Ravage if he can even get it off. Telekinesis throws him up, gets an Anchor Smash off, and now your Stone Gaze looking to zone back. Polosona gets thrown up into the air, however, with his Cyclone holding him there locked. Meanwhile on the backhand side here, still very low Hannah now trying to go onto the Brew. Brew gets taken down, and now
25 health. Oh my.
They open up here on Medusa, wave forward. It's going to be Mushi who picks up the kill there. Hannah's so low, moves right in and hands over a nice free kill. It's Mushi picking up the double.
Why did he walk in there? Oh my god, he could have just walked away. Now they're going to lose Miracle. What a train wreck.
Buyback Ravage, but where's everyone to kind of make the best of it? No one's there, but he'll get something for it. He moves forward with an Anchor Smash. Can he get a double? He gets 2 down.
He wanted, I guess he wanted to die so that he could rejoin the fight instantly.
With full
mana, I guess, but
we'll give him that benefit, I guess.
Still, they lost their TA for that. If that was the plan, then Miracle should have slow-rolled it a bit more.
And you're giving Mushi a kill with that.
Yeah. It definitely didn't work out to be worth it. Losing the TA there, losing the Medusa, buyback on the Tidehunter, a 3-for-3 with a buyback against first departure, and Mushi not dying yet. Definitely not worth it. Could have been a really clever play if they had coordinated it better. Like maybe you just let Miracle kind of bait a little bit more cautiously instead of charging helter-skelter into the fight. But yeah, if that was the plan, to die and then rejoin the fight with full mana and go for the Ravage, it was not executed very well. And costly. But Hana does have Blink Dagger soon, so that's the real winner, I guess, from that fight, despite the death. Those early buybacks don't cost you much. It's more costing his team when they lose the TA like that.
Looks like Mushi's going to go down the road of picking up a Lincoln Sphere. He's got the Perseverance now, picking up big gold bonus from that double kill. He had about 2.1k to work with, and he puts it to use there. And now, almost considering a go on the Medusa. Now, there's no tier 1 here for the first departure team to rotate to. If they want to had some aid, they'd have to start trekking that way now and hiking through the woods to get there. But no commitment coming out, just the Replicate's going to be grabbed, and Mushi's going to put that to use heading towards the bottom river area. Well, it just looks like there's going to go separation of farm here. I can't help but feel like first departure, their supports, they're lacking a little bit of that me time, I like to say. Both of them, Mirana rather, was fighting a little bit in the bottom lane, but was forced to try to get involved with the team fight. Now she just has wards and an urn. Your Shadow Demon, pretty same story. A smoke and a set of boots. They got a pence to their name. If they're lucky, they just need something going for them. They're level 4 and level 5.
Yeah, the Shadow Demon Mirana combo is pretty risky. As mentioned, I think it was a difficult Shadow Demon Mirana game, and what really made things hard was that they had to constantly react to Malaysia, so they may become liabilities as this game goes on, whereas Ogre will be very useful for Bloodlust and maybe the Ags if he gets his farm. And Rubik could be huge this game. A lot of good spells to steal. The Disruption's fantastic. Purge can be decent. And, of course, Ravage, Stone Gaze. Tougher to steal, but amazing spells. So Team Malaysia will have the better supporting cast, I would say, later on, though Shadow Demon could still be pretty damn useful against the Morphling in particular with that Soul Catcher Disruption. It's going to be more First Departure, just have the better cores. They do have the Medusa TA Tide. That's quite strong, and Brew eventually may fall off a bit, but that's looking far forward. I think for now it's this timing for both teams where you get your Blink Dagger on the Brew. Man, that's a late blink by KYXY standards, and with no Arcane Boots, but he's got it now. At the same time, Tide is the completed mech. Very nice pickup as they don't have much initiation, but they're more just looking to keep their team alive while they farm this Medusa and TA. They don't really feel a need to get aggressive. They've gone for a TA Midas, and then, of course, running the Medusa already. So they're much more focused on just farming and keeping heroes alive, not on
the First
taking
Departure
aggressive
way.
fights.
It seems to be is just the farm game.
It's up their alley, that's for sure.
They like to save the best for last. The final curtain of the game. That's when they really want to be at their pinnacle point when they make a fight. But if you stop that and you slow their roll, like we saw last game, you know, a Team Malaysia threw together a draft that really didn't have too much significant late game, but they got it done. Now, Hana is flirting with disaster here, trying to do a little bit of harassment, but we'll be able to step away, still with mech to use here, and just so meaty, your Tidehunter. It's going to take a lot more muscle than that. You might even need to start dipping into your ult pocket if you want to be able to take him down, even by his lonesome. So he just walks away from it, but First Departure is starting to move behind him here. He does have Ravage at the ready, and we'll see if First Departure want to make some more sort of engagement happen while bottom lane those two Titans are duking it out. It's going to be Mushi pressing forward with the wave, trying to go toe-to-toe here with Bullison. Adaptive Strike pushes forward, very low on life, and there's going to be the rotation to come out here from Shadow Demon. He does cancel it, seeing that Mushi does pull back, but Mushi already flexing his muscles, showing that, hey, I'm in the game right now.
It's a really good Morphly game. Even if you get that disruption into Arrowed, you can still just toggle Strength Morph as soon as you come out. They don't have a natural Orchid carrier. They don't have any Hexes, so there's no way, and no Doom. So there's really no way to prevent Mushi from getting off the Strength Morph, so he can play aggressive, and that's exactly what he's doing, and we'll see a smoke here. Might have a clash. Uh-oh. KYXY going in, looking for that initial clap. Is he going to use it?
Their arrow with the Ravage as well, caked on top. They take down KYXY with relative ease, and now they put their sights onto Kenshi, the stand-in Ogre, trying to soak up as much damage. Even the negative earns there. Leap forward commitment coming out from Aluka. They go to the high ground. Can they stop net? They can't. He eats huge damage, but he's still able to get out with that TP. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Mushi, who's not involved with this skirmish whatsoever, wants to go back to a split push, and now he's getting aid from your Nature's Prophet. This does force out the rotation from Miracle, getting, hey, how you doing? Smack to the face with your Adaptive Strike, and now it's Miracle going a little bit on the offensive here.
Dire's top tower
they
is
keep him
under
back.
attack.
He won't get that tier 2 tower. Big fight, though, for First Departure.
Yeah, KYXY had a moment there to split, but I don't think he realized the rest of First Departure were in the neighborhood, and he didn't want to blow a split just on... was it the Shadow Demon or the Mirana that he saw first? I think it was one of the supports, but he holds it, then they disrupt, and perfect timing. Disruption, he ravaged before the disruption ended, but like right as it was about to. Really good synchronization there from First Departure, and just there was no way he was going to split at that point. And unlike FD, Team Malaysia don't have a really strong defensive support, so if you get caught by that Ravage, there's no real solution for it until they pick up BKBs, which it's not going to happen for a while. Your Brewmaster for KYXY, dirt poor, 54 CS. The enemy Tidehunter, for comparison, 700 gold ahead of him, but also just going to continue to pull ahead with those Ancients being farmed. They did manage to sentry it for now, but yeah, they're looking for fights, it looks like. They know there's a Medusa in the game, pretty weak hero at this stage, and they just want to take objectives and especially to fight while that Ravage is down. Still a minute to go until they can Ravage again.
Their non-defensive supports on Malaysia would love to get a little bit of fun. They're actually finding this nice little double stack that they're going to try to take away quickly. With Hana's going to be like, hey, what are you doing there? There's a gush.
There's no Ravage, and they have to know this, but at the same time, Hana's just got a mech, so what do you do?
disruptions there. They throw the lift on Lovey, and they are going to pull out the Moonlight Shadow here to try to help out and aid, but there's going to be the dust immediately pops. Lovey gets a killing spree, taking down that Ogre, but right in the middle of the pit. The Cyclone going to be thrown up here on your Tide Hunter. Ignor Smash is going to fly out. That's going to help significantly with Mushi and Nature's Prophet. Here comes Medusa. Lady Medusa pops out Stone Gaze, forces them back and away. Oh, Nature's Prophet trying to hide under that Moonlight Shadow, which was very nicely taken from Rubik, and trying to help with the escape path here, but KYXY, big damage coming out from Miracle. Oh, the invisibility room, nope, denied. No, sir, not for you. Miracle takes the kill and takes away that illusion rune very nicely. Now Mushi going out the back door, trying to get away. Miracle still in hot pursuit here. Holds him briefly, but the replicate is out, and waveform now used.
They do have arrow, but that's way off the mark. He should be able to just walk his way to safety. Still,
he wants it. Miracle's hungry.
This is not happening. This is just not happening.
Top tower
but good persistence there. Force him to use all his mana strength morphine, then he'll retreat. And, well, really good fight overall for first departure, I gotta say. They did not manage to kill the Morphling, but Malaysia had Dust. Net was kind of forced out to the south side of this fight. He was the Dust carrier on the Rubik, and as a result, the TA was just doing all kinds of work in the north. There was the Moonlight Shadow, then she was melding. They wanted to focus Miracle with the Brewmaster Immolation and then just a Boulder Toss, some right clicks. You could just kill the TA, maybe an Ignite, but Ogre did die early, so he was out of the picture, and they didn't manage to dust Miracle at all. Net kind of ran towards him and popped it, but it was too late at that point. And yeah, Moonlight Shadow doing a lot of work. I think it's just one of those fights where positioning just wasn't in Malaysia's favor. Like they had dust, they were ready, they just couldn't get it off at the right time.
They had another game plan originally. They were looking to be the ones to hopefully have a pick off with the three of them right by that hill, but they see that double stack. It's a little too tempting, so they make the move in. Tidehunter helps spots them out, and then the flank comes through and the supports, and they kind of catch Team Malaysia without everyone together in a good spot, and they're forced to go into defensive immediately, and things just end up not working out to their favor. They don't lose quite as much, but they still do fall, and now Mushi, he's going to see a sweet green regen rune that he'll promptly grab up here. But first departure, it's more farm time coming their way. It is Miracle leading out the front as far as net worth on his TA. It looks like he's going to be building forward. He's got the hammer. Could be a BKB. Hell, could be a Desolator if he wants to go greedy and hard hitting. We'll have to find out.
No, they're going to disrupt mid lane. Do they really want to go on this? No Mirana arrow coming in. It's now arriving, but it's a bit late. That Mirana was sleeping on the job, man. Come on now. They're still going to dive onto Kenshi. Looks like they will get the kill. And in general, Malaysia just feel a little, I don't want to say lost, but just, they're a little too passive for my taste. I feel like where they excel against first departure is when they're playing very aggressive Dota, but the nature of their draft is just kind of to play the first departure game. The split push, the rat Dota, passivity, reacting more than forcing fights, and a lot of it has to do with the slow start this Brewmaster had. KYXY just can't control the game, so we see Ohio trying to rat mid, but Aluka's going to set up with an arrow. Oh, it's a bit too late. Good blink out there by Ohio. Not to say Malaysia can't out late game first departure, but I will say historically it is not where Mushi excels. This guy is infamous for having massive gold leads, huge item stacks, and just not always converting on them. Normally when Mushi really delivers is when he snowballs to victory early, but we'll see if this is going to be the kind of game. Like, there was a game at TI 3, I believe, where Mushi had like 4 BKBs. This is when rebuying it did refresh the duration. And yeah, I don't know. I think they need to shake this game up a little bit. Medallion's a good choice here. Try and go for a Roshan. Try and make some plays off of that. But right now, you're up against a TA Medusa Tidehunter. Tide is farming well, and I don't really think you want to walk into late game with a brew this poor.
Yeah, and Mushi, who just managed to throw together his Lincolns, is still going to be looking to put together an item which can help be a little more offensive. Yeah, he has a little bit of stats to work with there. He already grabs the Blade of Alacrity. We'll see what he does with that, and it might be just the reliable Yasha just assist in bringing that bit. They kind of flirt with the idea of doing Roche, but they just as quickly pull on out as first departure are missing on the map. They're actually making it go possibly here on bottom. Mushi's there. As Blossom comes in from the north, it's just going to be them actually who just kind of take over the farm. So Team Malaysia constantly on the move. It's been a long time. Ohio's been constantly sitting up in this top lane on his Nature's Prophet, just trying to be a bit of a pest. He's got the good old Bulldog style kind of a build with the Blink Maelstrom here, just really just trying to be a nuisance, it feels like.
Speaking of nuisances, Mushi doing his best Bone 7 or Eternal Envy impression, replicating the Tidehunter. He's going to clear out the wave. Oh, he's going to get arrowed. This could be trouble. There is a Ravage at the ready, but they know that replicate's up, and there is the Lincoln Sphere, so it was close. If they had one more like lockdown spell or stun, or the Tide was already in range, maybe they try and go for that. But again, it is a very good Morphly game. At the same time, Pelosin could get caught out here top. No teleport scroll.
Courier's there jumping forward. Sprout's going to lock him there. Immediate Moonlight Shadow coming out. The Stone Gaze could certainly help. The Brew is going to split, but now he's on a hunt.
Where's the detection?
Against the Medusa, but they don't have any detection right now. I'm clicking on these supports. I'm not seeing a Dust or a Sentry, so she kind of hides it under the darkness.
Bad. They blew their ultimate for nothing on the Brew, and now the turnaround might come.
Ooh, Cyclone, though, does hold Miracle back for now. Oh, Lovey not going to get close enough to get the disruption off yet. The nice blink comes out from KYXY. He makes the space for himself into TPville and will make his way out, but still, it's Team Malaysia committing an ultimate, hoping to get a pick off there on the Medusa, but ultimately coming up short.
Yeah, in the meantime, great play by Ohio. He manages to rat the tier 1 down mid. I was wondering if he'd be able to execute that more farming-oriented Prophet with the kind of precision he does his more selfless style, and man, he's played really well in this Nature's Prophet. Currently 2-1-4. He's been in all the important fights. He's been constantly applying pressure. We saw him top lane, he mentioned earlier. Takes down the tower mid, straight into the Roche pit.
Dire's top
But they don't
tower
have
has
Bruce Split,
fallen.
and First Departure seems to be wise to this one. This could be really bad, Coddle.
Oh, can they get there in time? They do get down the Roche, they get the kill, they get the Aegis, so they have the benefit, but they still want to fight. Jump in, Ravage does catch on 4, it looks like. And there, you're going to see, oh, Ogre does make it out. Multicast holds it for now, but it's going to be Pelosin pressing forward, takes down KYXY. Mushi very low, still hiding the pit, will waveform to the high ground to get away from this one. So they take down that Ogre, they take down that Brew again. KYXY 0-5-5 now in this game, and now they round it out very nicely as Medusa gets another kill, taking down your Rubik right under the tower.
Yeah, the Mystic Stake just clipped him at the end there. They do get the Aegis, but that's a costly Aegis. They lose 3 Dakota, and it's an Aegis on the Nature's Prophet, which, to be honest with you, it's more of a denial Aegis. Like, preventing the TA or the Medusa from getting this is pretty valuable, but yeah, having an Nature's Prophet with an Aegis is so often just useless. You die once, you're almost certainly dying twice. He's not like 2 items ahead of the enemy team, so there's no way he goes blow to blow.
Shift Blink Dagger or something just to pray to get into a sweet spot for a TP, but I agree with you. At the point when he gets caught out, it's usually him getting caught out in his side lane, and he's not going to have really anywhere to go. So Ohio, with that Aegis in hand now, revisits his top lane where he's made a home for himself for quite a while. Will just continue to be a nuisance there, bringing in a bit of that split push and attention away from First Departure, maybe going for objective gaming, because they really haven't done a whole lot. We still have plenty of tier 2s up on the map here. There's a lot of gold to be taken from both teams on that front, but side lane here. Smoke, under the Moonlight Shadow, though, they move forward. Oh, Hannah, they almost take him down, but the split still happens. Now with no mana, still hiding under the darkness, they take down one of the bears. This is a defensive split regardless now. KYXY trying to hide one of those bears. They scout it out, but it really comes out nowhere, and there's Ohio, top lane, knocking at that tier 3 door. They pull a little bit back, Arrow's going to be there. Telkin throws up Miracle, and these supports are dancing here. On this bottom lane, they take down the Mirana very nicely. It's Morphling who picks it up. Mushi with a nice adaptive strike, moves on forward with the Replicant. Miracle forces BKB and TP away from this skirmish. Lubby, they jump forward. It's Nature's Prophet. Oh, the Sprout blocks him out, and now he's to block.
Well, that's pretty good. They didn't... Still, Miracle has been basically invulnerable in these fights. He had to BKB there, but it's still a bit of a worry for Malaysia. They have no real solution for the TA BKB except trying to kite her, which Morphling is pretty good at, but outside of that, the lineup isn't very strong at kiting, so I'm still a bit worried that was a fight without Ravage. Imagine if Ravage is up for Team First Departure. They are just very difficult to tackle, and we're seeing the weakness of the Brewmaster a bit.
Ooh, Arrow just a hair above net right now, who actually has taken them back. Trying to push this here. Look who it is. Oh, they move forward. Nice multi. Oh, defensive disruption. Very nice. And the return Ravage finishes off. Even a Stone Gaze comes out. They quickly clean out 3. They want to make it 4. The Aegis, the comeback of Ohio here, is going to be getting away from this one. Tries to move to the right, but like predicted, he falls not once, but twice.
Yeah, it's Nature's Prophet Aegis. It's good the TA doesn't have it, that's for sure. I thought they'd actually be able to take her down, but really nice defensive disruption by Lubby, who continues to just impress a lot more. Look at these Team Malaysia supports. 1 and 7 on your Ogre for Kenshi, and I think it's mostly because he's the first one in, so he always just gets the brunt of the beating and ends up falling, but they just haven't had the impact of that Shadow Demon, and I mentioned I thought Malaysia's supports could go later, but not when they're farming like this. Net has a medallion, nothing else. The Ogre is just dirt poor with that 1-7 record, and
I mean, Bruce also not really getting to a point he'd like to be at. I mean,
and that hero just falls off hard against TA, Medusa, all that physical damage. They just wreck the Brewmaster ult. Like, I don't even, you can't go Ags at this point. You absolutely have to go for the Aura build.
Yeah.
Because your Brewmaster ult is, there's gonna be a point in this game where ulting is probably detrimental, except to maybe like dodge a Ravage. But they'll just focus down the Brewmaster split. He's gonna have to ult and run in a lot of these fights at some point, so. It is a concerning stage here for Team Malaysia. Mushi's flawless so far on paper, but Morphling just has to... He needs a ton of farm to have the same impact as this TA Medusa. Going toe-to-toe when they've got the Tidehunter and you don't is just very difficult. And at this stage of the game, Tidehunter generally brings more to the table than a Brew in the fights, especially when the Brew's this under-farmed. Bit of a worrying moment for Malaysia, but they do have that 1-0 lead, so even if they fall short in here, they'll have Game 3.
Yep, and we'll see as you're going to start seeing the damage items really come online at this point. After Miracle picked up his BKB, he's got 3,300 gold and a DD to work with at this point. Medusa looking to finish out that Scotty. Things become that much more scary, and if already Team Malaysia are running into a bit of trouble, things aren't going to get any easier. Now they do rotate one behind the trees trying to hide out. A possible engagement Miracle can make here on your Ohio Nature's Prophet, but he's already onto it. He moves himself into a corner. Back hiding within the trees in a way. Mushi's split pushing a bit on the top. Already has pulls out from there. And it looks like Team Malaysia are just trying to spread the map as much as possible.
Top tower
Miracle even pressing down this bottom lane, just stopping these creeps early. Ohio gets out and actually moves forward. He's still here, hanging about, but
all he wants to do is rat the wave. There's no way he's killing TA. And actually, I don't think they're really going to be able to kill TA at all this game unless his BKB's down or they get a Hex. So we'll have to see if Ohio wants to go that route. But for me, he's probably the MVP of this game so far. Mushi's done a nice job on the Morphling, but it's much easier not to die on Morphling this game. For the Prophet to only have the 2 deaths with the amount of split push he's been doing, that's fantastic.
Yeah. No, I'm behind you on that. Mid lane, more flirting here. Medusa with that Scotty now complete. Starts putting it to use right there on KYXY. He has to step back. Seeing that now, things get a bit scary here. Medusa building in huge stats. I mean, 2,100 life, but that's just a number in comparison to the true potential she has to survive with that huge mana pool she's working with now. Steps back and away, but still, Team Malaysia always everywhere else. Bottom lane, Mushi below that arrow, not going to catch Medusa, and this Mushi, they're going for it, but Mushi is going to be stepping out first in that game of chicken and has to waveform away.
It really seems like they need to rat or just find pickoffs, but true team fights just unlikely to go their way, and the problem is that Medusa can just stand there and push out a wave. No one's going to force her back with rat, but we might have a clash here. Lubby going for that disruption, not successful because there's a Lincoln. Down he goes. This could be good.
That big immediate takeoff right there. Stone Gaze forced to come out here from Medusa, and it's going to be Mushi who relocates away from it and trying to get away from this one.
Moonlight Shadow again, they're late with the Sentry Wards.
Sentry's down, but
Team Malaysia just not prepared to play against the Mirana this game, to be honest with you. I mean, there was the one fight where Net had Dust was just kind of forced out of the fight, but since then it's been multiple engagements where Ogre hasn't had Sentries or Dust. I mean, granted he's fairly poor, but I think you got to abandon the Aghanim Scepter dream at this point, Kenshi. Your team needs a gem or they need Dust or something. That's 2 or 3 fights now that have been turned or straight up disappointments because of lack of detection.
Prancing forward, first departure here. It looks like Team Malaysia don't want to have anything else to do with this bottom lane. They're not looking to finish off that tier 2. They get a little bit out of that engagement, but not quite as much. And after not really having the detection at the ready, they step back with what they got. And it's still Ohio not getting involved with the rest of them, just split pushing and farming up here on the side. He's going for the broadsword here. So, what is that, crit? He's going to go for more right click, it looks like. Or late blade mail? Battle Fear.
Blade mail wouldn't be... Well, let's see. There's a BKB on TA. It's still decent versus these other heroes. I think it's probably a Daedalus. If he wanted a blade mail, he would have most likely gone for it earlier. And it's not like there's a Mystic Flare, right? So if he blade mails, you just ignore him for a few seconds. He's not really doing much during that time. So yeah, I'm thinking it probably is the Crystallis. We'll see.
What a clean record from Mushi. 6-0-0. Just Does what he needs to do, moves in, moves out. He's slippery.
It's too clean, though. I feel like you'd like him to get a little more involved in this game. But now it's a little bit late.
Well, now he's kind of dancing here with Miracle a little bit. Miracle does have aid nearby. The Shadow Demon en route, but
he really wants Miracle to BKB, but Miracle is patient. Meanwhile, top lane will have a go on KYXY's Brewmaster. Will end up falling, and nice pick off there. They were chasing him for a while, but I thought he'd be able to just... Close call for Mushi.
Yeah, they jumped in. They almost got it, and yeah, we didn't catch that pick off there in the top lane, but it looked like there was an opportunity for Mushi to get caught out right there as Tidehunter came on through, and it was indeed close, but nice grab from First Departure to take down that Brew once more, who continues to really struggle and try to find a role for himself at this point into the game when things have just become much more staggering, especially off that very, very rough start.
I'm really not sure about this Chrysalis, because the thing is, he doesn't have a BKB, right? So he can't really participate in team fights, because if he does, he just gets ravaged and he dies. It's also really not the best rat item. If you want a rat, Desolator's fantastic, AC's fantastic for the minus armor and buildings. I think it's too late for Necrobook, not that great against Medusa at this point. They do try to scout her out with the Sprout here, but she's going to scurry away. At the same time, there's a jump in bottom being prepped by First Departure. Here you go.
Whoa, it only takes 2 big shots on net, and your Rubik is done for. Now a self-disruption coming out from Lubby as they are looking to try to just add more intimidation here. On the opposite side of the map, you're seeing the Titans really go at it here. Medusa slowly withering down Mushi from the back, using that Scotty to try to get up with him, but Mushi just waveforms out. No arrow.
They want to go back in here, bottom.
But yeah, bottom on the opposite side. Big damage here. Kenshi might be in big trouble, and he will go down again on your Brew. It's just a big burst coming out. Miracle putting that new MKB to use, and it's just hitting real, real hard. And they're still doing that kind of cat and mouse game on the top side of the map as well. But Oiho here, behind him, hiding by the side shop.
These Brew splits have just been useless this game. And he's going to peg. Ravage will come through. Net managed to... He couldn't even steal it. He actually got the spell steal off, but it was already an anchor smash from Hana. And now he's done for. Trapped out, picked off.
That's 2 back-to-back takedowns.
Kamushi, he's like, what do? I got to run down mid, try and draw the creep wave back, do something. Ohio's going to TP in and fall bottom lane. It's a triple kill for Miracle. I mean, I think this one's pretty much over, I want to say. Honestly, the Brewmaster's useless. The Morphling isn't going to outcarry the Medusa. Like, you mentioned there's this cat and mouse game, but it's just a immovable object of the Medusa walking through the top lane, just kept on pushing the wave. Mushi tries to like run around her, cut the creep wave, but he can't win a direct fight against her. And we saw him harass the TA bottom, but that was without TA popping BKB. And speaking of Miracle's TA, now has the completed butterfly. Mushi gets caught up by an arrow, but actually hits his Manta, not his main hero, so he'll be okay. Yeah, it's looking very bad. Hana's getting very close to his refresher orb. Miracle now has a butterfly. Magic damage is entirely lacking on Malaysia because Kenshi is dirt poor, so you need to rely on physical damage, but Medusa's got 22 armor, and there's the butterfly on the TA.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
We're very, very close to a game 3, man. This is not looking good.
I believe you. I mean, that was the biggest net worth advantage we've seen in the game so far, biggest, most significant fight, and it went to a team that can pretty much make the best use of those funds. And First Departure, they're already hitting that hard. I was questioning how much of an impact they'd make once they started getting those damage items together, and you see it right there. It's Miracle and that MKB just swinging fridges at this point, and now is sporting like 3K in his pocket. Got a lot of gold to work with here, and look at Team Malaysia. They're trying to make a big play. Jump forward, KYXY pulls out the split here. The Brews are going to be out. Can they manage to contest? Radiant is going to get the takedown of Roche. Where's the Aegis? It's picked up from Miracle.
And he's going to die in split. Oh, this is so bad.
Man, they're going to go down one more. Earth Bear wrecked. Miracle. Monster kill streak for him. Now the rest of Malaysia possibly trying to get on the run, but Kenshi, he is not going anywhere. Double kill for Miracle. Mushi stands back and away. I can't handle this. I'm but one Morphling. As he watches his allies just crumble before him, it's devastation. As First Departure get what they want, and even when you try to contest, you go down. But
this is over. They didn't even use a Ravage. Now they have double Ravage ready to go. Pawson wasn't in the fight because he TP top. Again, he just keeps on stopping the split push for Mushi. Ohio, he'll try to slow this game down, but if you can't win a fight in the pit when you get the jump without double Ravage, without a single Ravage, how are you going to win it when they have it? Especially, Miracle didn't have his butterfly. He's now going in, forcing Mushi back. They're so screwed. So,
They get their tier 3 though, and the damage starts coming in on your first set of racks, and we're looking at First Departure here, taking the series to a 3rd game. Team Malaysia hoping for a clean sweep, but there's your Ravage. Will they finally take down Mushi? They will. They get a hold of that sweet extra bounty, 611 gold, but they're going to get a little more caked on top of that. And now they're looking to take the rest. Moving on in, your Medusa, not much mana, but still hefty right-click, and before they can even clean out the rest of Team Malaysia, Mushi has already seen enough, throws in the towel. We're going to go to a game number 3 here for the loser bracket finals.
Wrecked. Absolutely wrecked. They just didn't get enough done. Maybe Mushi could have gone greedier, picked up an earlier Midas instead of going for the straight Lakens, but they just didn't have it, Dakota, and yeah.
It's like the opposite of game number 1. Team Malaysia just dominate. They have their game plan. There's no stopping them. They deathball their way home. First Departure, this time they want to find the farm. Team Malaysia, they throw together a bit of a questionable draft. It really just doesn't.
They seem to identify where Malaysia's draft last game really worked, which was, yeah, big team fight, so they take the Tidehunter. They also ban the Death Prophet. And where Malaysia have had success against First Departure is just pushing them down early. Like, kind of like the way the Vici Gaming was doing to teams at TI4, but barring that, seems First Departure just have them figured out in the late game. And I will say the support play was very underwhelming for Malaysia this game after the first gank or two. Yeah. Great first blood middle Miracle, but he just went for the catch-up Midas. They saw that. They weren't able to punish it. The early brew split wasn't very effective, and they just got outplayed.
Yep. They look good. First Departure, they want to hold on to this momentum and kind of clean out Team Malaysia. The heavy favorites in this one, mind you, 77% according to Dota2 Lounge, and now down
a lot of
one
fanboys.
game.
I would not have said this is 77-23. I mean, they got 2-0'd last time, so
it's true.
At least it's
against
going to
this
game 3.
team. So if someone has the answer, Team Malaysia, it's First Departure, and we'll see if they have it for game number 3. This is what matters now, and moving on to the finals against Invasion. So we'll see how it goes. If you like what you heard, catch me on my Twitter at CoddleGuy. Catch this guy right here over on his Twitter at LDDota. We'll be back. I felt like I needed a punch too.
Yeah.
We'll be back in just a moment.